Irresponsible disposal of waste still hindering efforts to prevent flooding. Forensic science critical for effective justice delivery. And Libyan Coast Guards intercept boats carrying 850 migrants trying to reach Europe. It's time for News Hour, and you're live on GBC24 and GTV. Good evening. My name is Yoko Kwakutre, and you're welcome to the news.
My name is Micheline Taka.
The Odo River and the Kole Lagoon, two of the water bodies that run through the city of Accra, were dredged early this year to essentially prevent flooding during the rainy season.
A downpour in the past 48 hours has left some areas underwater, though the desilted Odo River did not break its bank. City authorities point to irresponsible disposal of rubbish by some residents as a development that sees waste across the street and clogging the city's drain when the rains come pouring.
The Odo River and the Kole Lagoon were dredged in February this year, but the problem of flooding is not completely over. Some people keep throwing rubbish anywhere and all ends up in the drains.
If the Odo stream gets full, all adjoining smaller drains fall into the Odo. Definitely these drains cannot get chance to enter because this one is flowing fast and is full until the Odo stream, the level goes down before this one will go, and that's actually what happened. Just after the Odo stream gets down, all the other stream also flowed up. But when it's full up, then you see that there's been a built up into the communities. The solution to that problem is to put up retention ponds along the drains in those communities.
Dredge Masters Limited is the company dredging the Odo River. The director of the company, Captain Ansara Ahmed Khan, briefed the media on the progress of work so far.
We have done at least, I think, about 3 times now. Absolute clean we have made this area. And you can see still debris have come back. So what is it? Dredging is a continuous process because silt will continue coming. Only thing is you have to make the dynamics of it, that inflow and outflow balance. At the moment, balance of inflow is on higher side on inflow. That's why we're trying to create. You will not have. It's a dynamic situation. Basically, it's not that you have removed the silt and nothing you have to do again.
The AMA presiding member, Mr. Thomas Anson, stressed the need for public discipline towards the environment.
There should be enough more public education. Why we need to desist from putting certain things in their drink. But most of these things that goes to their drink are most often plastic. We say we need to devise the best method to recycle our plastic waste that will give people even money so that people will not be putting them in their drain, but rather see it as an income generating venture so that it will help.
On the 3rd of June last year, the southern part of the Odo River overflowed its bank after a heavy rain, which led to the loss of many lives.
The Waja-Accra road has been rendered impassable due to debris washed downhill during the downpour over the weekend. The development has slowed vehicular movement along the busy stretch, which is a key route linking Accra to the central region. GBC24 has visited the area to assess the situation.
The heavy rains over the weekend and early Monday morning flooded most parts of the capital, causing damage to property. On the Waja-Accra road, the effect of the downpour was evident. The rains washed a lot of sand and stones up the hills and deposited them on the road. The drainage constructed to allow free flow of water is filled with debris. The weeds that have grown in the gutters confirm that the situation has long existed. Road users could not hide their frustration as they drove through.
When the rains fall about 2-3 hours, there is no place to pass here. So the government must bring this attention here if it can help, so that they can build a big gutter here so that when the rain falls, it can pass through. If not, those who are building here, all they are on risk. When the rain falls very heavy, it can break the houses.
I
can remember for the past 4 years, we've been having this problem. I don't know what has been done about it. It's a really big problem. Sometimes, there was a time an accident happened here because of this thing. And I don't know what the authorities are doing about it. We pay toll every day. You pay in, you pay out. And you don't see anything. All you see is development of the toll. Either they are extending it so they can collect more money. But as for the road that we use, we don't see any improvement.
Hours later, officials from the Municipal Assembly arrived to clear the road.
I was told National Security has come to have a look at it. Ministry of Roads and Highways has come to have a look at it. And Highways has also have come to have a look at it. What we are doing right now is to try to open up the traffic so that the traffic can flow. Basically, we are thinking that when we open up the road and put up a culvert across the road so that all this silt can be washed to the other side so that it can go. But that again is subject to what our authorities over there will have to say.
Authorities have now diverted the Wager-Accra route to the opposite road, but commuters along the stretch have questioned how long they will have to endure as the problem keeps recurring after every downpour.
A seminar at the Forensic Science Department of the University of Cape Coast has recommended public education on the importance of forensic science in the national security. One of the most important aspects of criminal justice is forensic science, or scientifically examine physical evidence collected from the crime scene. If there are no known witnesses to a crime, sometimes forensic evidence is all prosecutors have to work with. This explains the importance of forensic sciences to effect delivery of justice.
Forensic science is the application of science to criminal and civil laws. Forensic scientists provide impartial scientific evidence for use in courts of law to support the prosecution or defense in criminal and civil investigations. The seminar, organized by the Forensic Science Department of the University of Cape Coast, was to educate the university community and the public on the importance of forensic science in national security and development. The Pro-Vice Chancellor of the university, Professor George Odro, charged the department to make forensic science attractive to the public. The director of the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Center, Dr. Ebenezer Kwesienin, attributed the lack of confidence in the country's security network by Ghanaians to the attitude of policymakers towards forensic science.
Some private developers have allegedly encroached on state lands at Ablekuma in the Gan West district. The Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Me Osa Mills, has therefore called for closer cooperation among state agencies, especially those in the lands and environment sector, to prevent illegal land acquisition, encroachment of legally acquired lands, and disputes which can pose danger to lives and property.
Regimanial Concrete Products complained to the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources about encroachment on the Greenbelt area around the company's quarry site. The creation of the 300 to 500 meter buffer zone is a legal requirement. The company alleged that it is members of the community who are behind the illegal act. The managing director of Regimanial Concrete Products Limited, Mr. Christian Brown, expressed concern about the situation.
All the proactive measures we put in place with forestation area to protect the environment from impacts of our mining operation have been eroded and destroyed by these developers.
The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources was first concerned about the closeness of residents to a site where stone is blasted.
The quarry site has been invaded. Buildings are everywhere, and even where you have the quarry itself, where the blasting is taking place, not more than, I would say, 20 meters away, there are houses coming up. And this is a real danger. This whole area is government land. And if a lease has been given to a quarry legitimately to do its work, I don't see how people can just come and build like this. It's wrong. We're going to have to do something about it.
Some members of the community confirmed that flying stone fragments have ever killed someone in the community.
The Amada community in the Trimwa Imponua district of the Ashanti region is to be connected to the national grid. Amada is one of the key cocoa growing areas in the country but lacks basic amenities.
The Imponua district is located in the southwestern part of the Ashanti region with about 260 farming communities. Amada is one of the district's key cocoa growing areas that lack basic infrastructure. As part of development projects in the area, low tension poles have been erected to connect the community to the national grid. A borehole fitted with pumps have also been constructed to serve the people. The regent of Amada, Nana Oting Mensah, appealed to businesses, especially small-scale mining companies in the area, to facilitate the development process in the community. The Chief Executive of the Minerals Commission, Dr. Tony Obin, emphasized the need for small-scale mining companies in the country to adhere to the regulations on mining and preserve the environment for posterity.
Wife of the Vice President, Mrs. Matilda Emisa Arthur, has donated assorted items including food, clothing and toys to inmates of the Kinder Paradise, a home for homeless children.
Kinder Paradise is a home for homeless children and others whose families just do not have the means to take care of them. The owner of the home, Madame Silke Rosner, and her team, in collaboration with the Department of Social Welfare, usually find these children and give them shelter in the paradise while they make attempts to find their families. The children are then reintegrated into their families when they reach adulthood. Mrs. Matilda Emisa Arthur's regular visit to Kinder Paradise began when she learnt of the humanitarian work Madame Rosner was doing for needy children in Ghana. As usual, the children put up a performance in appreciation for the gesture. They also displayed dancing skills. The Kinder Paradise Choir crowned it all with a special song. Mrs. Matilda Emisa Arthur disclosed to the excitement of the children that there was an upcoming concert that would involve them and 3 other groups.
We have Kinder, Basics and Achievers. Then there's the Pan-African Youth Orchestra. They are youth who play the orchestra. So these are the 4 groups for the 26th. So I am so encouraged watching you and seeing how well you are doing. It's made me so excited that I can't wait for the 26th.
The Greater Accra Regional Minister Nilaye Afote Agbo donated an amount of 4,000 Ghana cedis in support of the home. The wife of the Vice President, Mrs. Matilda Emisa Arthur, later presented the food items and assorted gifts to the home.
You're watching news live on GBC24 and GTV. We're taking a short break.
Please stay on.
Hello, good evening and welcome. This is the business segment of the news and I'm Dorothy Ajimine. Oil marketing companies in the country have reviewed petroleum prices at the pump. A litre of super, which used to be sold at 3 cedis 53 pesos, is now going for 3 cedis 51 pesos. On the other hand, a litre of diesel is up from 3 cedis 33 pesos to 3 cedis 41 pesos. Moving on, the Deputy Minister for Communications, Mr. Ato Sapong, has tasked the Ghana Investment Fund for Electronic Communications, GIFEC, to look for other avenues to raise capital to support its activities instead of relying solely on government revenues. Mr. Sapong advised GIFEC to position itself strategically to attract investments.
The Ghana Investment Fund for Electronic Communications, GIFEC, started operations in 2004 to facilitate the provision of ICT, internet connectivity, and infrastructure to underserved and unserved areas of the country. GIFEC has over the years undertaken a number of projects to increase mobile and telephony penetration. These projects include the Universal Access Program, the construction of telephone masts to the underserved and unserved communities, as well as the Rural Telephony Project aimed at bridging the gap created by telecommunications companies in their rollout. GIFEC has also initiated ICT for Sustainable Fishing, a project which seeks to enhance fishing activities in the various fishing communities. The introduction of a new emergency call center, 112 for the security agencies, is another project by GIFEC. The Deputy Minister for Communications, Mr. Ato Sapong, said the role of GIFEC is critical in ensuring that rural communities have access to mobile connectivity.
Our expectations into the future is that when it comes to the funding, and I'd like to throw a challenge to GIFEC, that in the short term, they should probably be exploring how do we generate 15% of our revenue off the traditional revenue streams. How do we generate other streams of revenue beyond the 1% operators give us, beyond the interest that we earn?
He advised GIFEC to explore other opportunities for investment to enable it to carry out its mandate successfully. The administrator for GIFEC, Mr. Kwabna Owusu Ichampon, said GIFEC will consider the recommendations made and work assiduously to raise the needed investment to increase mobile connectivity in Ghana.
We would explore all the needed avenues and make sure that we bring this to fruition, because I'm saying the next 2-3 years, based on what we do, the volume of work, I don't think it will be sustainable for us to continuously just give and not receive anything. Fortunately, we are embarking on a program that would at least give us a leverage in terms of what we also receive, at least even if it's only in operations and maintenance support. It will help us.
Management of GIFEC has given the assurance that they will continue to establish the needed infrastructure and equip educational institutions with logistics to ensure that the country achieves universal access to basic telephony and internet connectivity.
The annual Accountants Week has been launched in Accra. The Institute of Chartered Accountants plans to use scientific means to place professional accountants in the public sector. The forum identified the microfinance sector as an area that needed critical attention due to inadequate regulatory and monetary framework. This will form the basis for discussions at the conference to be held during the week. The outgoing president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana, Professor Kwame Omani-Antwi, said presentations at the conference will also focus on the central bank's role as a regulator and expectations of interested parties such as the insurance, microfinance companies and commercial banks. Professor Omani-Antwi also mentioned that this year's election of members of the council will feature e-voting. According to him, membership of the institute has increased to 4,851 with a students' population of over 17,000. 394 students qualified for the November 2015 examinations. He mentioned that the institute benefited from a £9 million sterling funding from DFID to build the capacity of professional accountancy organizations in 10 countries over a period of 7 years.
Furthermore, in our bid to improve the institute's technical and research capacity, 2 surveys were initiated. The first was on the small and medium practitioners and the role and placement of professional accountants in the public sector. The outcome of these surveys, it is hoped, will help streamline the operations of small and medium practice, and ensure that appropriate placement of professional accountants in the civil service in order to enhance their proficiency and competence.
Professor Omani said the institute is ready to support the Electoral Commission in the coalition of figures in the November 7 polls. He advised professional accountants to adhere to the code of ethics of the profession. You're watching News Hour, and this is the business segment. Insurance news is next. The role of the professional chartered accountant differs from that of the certified actuary. Actuaries are business professionals who deal with the measurement of managing risk and uncertainties. In the insurance industry, actuary has all to do with life expectancy. A professional chartered accountant, however, has ensured that no fraudulent activity occurs in the finances of an organization. In short, the book must conform to the rules. For Insurance News tonight, we have been speaking to the outgoing president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana, Professor Kwame Omani in both professionals.
Their role is to determine, when it comes to insurance, this is about life. So life expectancy role. And that it cannot be done by a chartered accountant. It has to be an actuary. Any organization that has areas to deal with life, how we see the future, how will the future roll, we get actuaries actually coming in. So the accountant in an insurance industry, unless he is a qualified actuary, so you could see that in some jurisdictions, their audited financial statements are signed by two people. Chartered accountant and actuary. Because if they have funds, which is for members, they have to make sure that whether these funds, they are being invested in a way that will be able to have a good payback when members are ready for it. Like Social Security, our deductions and whatnot, which they are managing. We have to make sure that when we come out on retirement, we'll be able to get our benefits until death do us part. That is what the actuaries will do. So you will get them, the two signing the accounts. We sign to make sure that the accounts show true and fair view. Meaning simply that there are no material errors in the accounts. When we talk of errors, we talk of fraud and whatnot, there are no material ones. But we don't sign to confirm that the funding that is there are being invested to ensure that if in future beneficiaries want their money, it will be there. That is where the actuary comes in. An accountant is somebody who have gone to university and having had all those qualifications, go on further to study for professional qualification. You have to go through the prescribed examination of the institute and then go through the relevant training so that you can become a member. It is only then that when you receive the membership certificate that you can be said to be a chartered accountant.
The Insurance News was brought to you by SIC Life. We do appreciate your company. Many thanks for
Good evening and many thanks to have you join us on the health segment of the news brought to you by FPAC, Blows Your Pain Away. I'm Evans Achampon. An e-learning secretariat for the Nursing and Midwifery Training Institute as well as the Community Health Training in the country has been inaugurated in Accra. This is to facilitate learning among the students who hitherto had limited access to learning materials. Sarah Ofori reports.
The electronic platform was created to enable students who have Android or smartphones to access learning materials via the internet. Beyond the e-learning module, S&M Learning an electronic mobile game application that engages students on the practical aspects of their courses. It also measures and monitors students' progress. The game has two scenarios, the community-based and hospital-based. Developed 3 years ago with support from the Maternal and Child Survival Program of USAID, it was implemented on pilot basis in selected training institutions. It has now been scaled up to enroll 85 nurses and midwifery as well as community health institutions across the country.
As they play with the games, they learn. As they interact and answer questions as part of the game, they learn. So basically, it's another form of learning that we have implemented through mobile applications. It has a number of activities in there. There are more critical thinking, decision making, and on-the-spot decision making also. When you make a mistake, it allows you to go forward, like when you perform a procedure without washing your hand, it allows you to go forward. Then it prompts you that you failed because you didn't take into consideration washing your hand before performing this procedure.
The implementing agency of the e-learning module is JPIGO, also of USAID. Its country director is Chantal Allen. Opening the secretariat in Accra, she emphasized the relevance of pre-service education to ill-resourced institutions. The program will be extended to all nurses and midwifery as well as community health institutions across the country by 2018.
Pre-service education is a true partnership between multiple departments, multiple disciplines, multiple ideas, multiple subjects. And it's the ability to bring this exciting group of people together that has made e-learning possible. E-learning is deceptively easy and deceptively difficult at the same time because there's technical content, there's computer expertise, there's connectivity. The second thing is there's been a huge focus on Ghanaian expertise.
The Director of Nursing and Midwifery at the Ministry of Health, Mr. George Chireme, said a large proportion of students can be reached with standardized information through e-learning, leading to promote quality health care.
The ministry strongly believes that quality training of health professionals can only be achieved through the provision of excellent, robust, and time-tested practical training schemes of both national and international standards. There is no doubt that with the right application of health information technology, teaching and learning in our health training institutions will be greatly enhanced.
Mr. Chireme entreated all principals of health training institutions to ensure that the programs succeed in their schools through a peer review mechanism and also the sharing of best practices. The e-learning modules will not replace the traditional methods of learning and assessment of students. Sarah Furi, GBC24, Accra.
And the fight against malaria has reached Krobo Odumasi with the launch of the free distribution of treated mosquito nets to children in primary schools. The project is in line with overall measures to deal with the disease, which is one of the leading causes of death in the country. The project aims to distribute 1 million treated mosquito bed nets to school children in primary 2 and 6 across the country. The initiative is being spearheaded by the Health Ministry and the Ghana Education Service with support from development partners Vectorworks.
The free, long-lasting insecticide net distribution campaign was started in 2013 by the Ministry of Health. Statistics indicate that malaria is still the major cause of school absenteeism, seriously retarding the academic progress of school children. This year's edition of the free mosquito net distribution targets the youth as agents of change to spread the message on the essence of sleeping under treated mosquito nets. This message was conveyed through a drama by the pupils of Kolesom Anglican Primary School. The long-lasting insecticide-treated nets has been approved by the World Health Organization as the most effective, affordable, and easy-to-use tool to curtail the number of malaria cases recorded. Over 14,000 primary schools in 6 regions, Eastern, Central, Western, Volta, Ashanti, and the Bonahafo regions are expected to benefit from the latest distribution. The Deputy Minister for Health, Dr. Victor Bampo, was part of the program.
It is the goal of the Ministry of Health
that no illness, especially malaria, should stand in our way. When children remain free of malaria, their school attendance will improve and learning capabilities will be sustained.
In an interview with GBC24, the manager of the National Malaria Control Program, Dr. Constance Bart-Planche, spoke about the devastating effect malaria has on the mental development of children.
When malaria affects a child, it can go quickly to the brain, what you call cerebral malaria. So if you don't treat malaria well and the child develops what you call cerebral malaria, it can affect their brain, it can affect its intellect. In fact, 7% of those who get cerebral malaria, when they recover, they get what we call attention deficits.
Treated bed nets were distributed to 8 basic schools in the area.
And that does it for the segment brought to you by FPAC Blows Your Pain Away. News hour continues right after the break. Stay tuned.
Well, before the international news, let's take this quick one. The Judicial Council has expressed grave concern about the ongoing strike by the Judicial Staff Association of Ghana, JUSAC, which has disrupted the work of the courts in the country. In a statement issued in Accra today, the Judicial Council entreats JUSAC to call off the strike. The council says before the strike, efforts were being made to address the concerns of JUSAC. The council, however, acknowledges that although there had been negotiations between the government and JUSAC on consolidated salaries, it had taken some time for the negotiations to be concluded for the grievances of JUSAC to be addressed.
The Judicial Council says at a meeting, it impressed upon the Minister for Employment and Labour Relations to expedite the resolution of the matter. In accordance with the Labour Act 2003, Act 651, the Council advised JUSAC that while the negotiations are ongoing, they should call off the strike. The Judicial Council also assured the public that everything is being done to get the government to play its part to resolve the problem and bring closure to the matter.
And on the international front, Libyan Coast Guards have intercepted boats carrying 850 migrants trying to reach Europe on Sunday. A spokesman said the migrants from various African countries, including 79 women, 11 of them pregnant, were found in 7 inflatable boats near Sabratha, west of the capital, Tripoli. More than 30,000 migrants have already crossed from Libya to Italy this year. It comes as the UN's first World Humanitarian Summit is due to open in Istanbul. Heads of state, aid agencies and others will discuss the financial response to crisis and how better to distribute aid to those who most need it.
Sudan has stepped up pressure for the complete exit of international peacekeepers from the country as the UN Security Council begins talks next month on renewing its mission in Darfur for another year. About 20,000 troops and policemen from more than 30 countries are currently in Sudan's western region of Darfur as part of the African Union United Nations mission UNAMID. The mission, which was deployed in 2007, has a mandate to curb violence in Darfur. Deadly conflict there since 2008 has left thousands of civilians dead. Khartoum insists that unrest in Darfur has now ended and that a referendum held there in April was a clear example of security returning to the region. Violence erupted in Darfur when ethnic minority rebels rose against President Umar al-Bashir, accusing his government of marginalizing the region.
South Africa's prosecution says it will appeal against a court ruling that it should reconsider corruption charges against President Jacob Zuma. Originally, the 783 charges were dropped weeks before the 2009 election, which led to him becoming president. But last month, a High Court judge described that decision as irrational. Mr. Zuma has always denied the allegations, which are linked to a 1,999 arms deal worth billions of dollars. And in April, a judge-led commission of inquiry found no evidence of corruption or fraud by any government official at the time the deal was made.
We go for a quick break. We're back with the entertainment and sports news and go away.
Good evening and updates from happenings in the world of sports. I'm Theophilus Samba. The Methodist University College football team are winners of the maiden edition of the Private Universities Football Association football tournament. They beat GE University College by 6 goals to 5 on penalties.
The Methodist University College Park at Dansoman was the venue for the finals of this year's Private Universities Football Association PUFA football tournament. The tournament, the first of its kind, had 10 teams participating. The final matchup was between the Methodist University College in the orange jersey and the JE University College. The two sides were tactical in their approach. They created goal-scoring opportunities but failed to find the back of the net. After normal regulation time, the winner was decided through penalty shootout. After the first 5 kicks were converted, the captain of the Methodist University team, Master Albert Kwamin, who doubled as the goalkeeper, saved for his side to give them the victory. We sampled some views of the players and organizers.
It was really hurting to see my players lose chances, miss chances here and there. But yes, still, I knew we would win the game at the end of 90 minutes.
We could have buried the game in the first half of the match, but we lost most of our chances. But anyways, it's a game. You either lose, win or draw. So we just accept our fate and then we'll work hard next time and then we'll come back and take the cup.
It's going to be a yearly thing. It's not going to be one-day show. And what we are lacking now is sponsorship. So with this, and the media is also here, we want you to tell the corporate Ghana that something new is coming up from the private university.
There were presentations to deserving players and teams.
The staff and management of Textiles Ghana Limited have marked the company's 50th anniversary with a variety of activities. Textiles Ghana is a subsidiary of GTP.
The workers competed in football, sack race and tug of war. Others also played Ludo and Oware. The event afforded the workers and management the opportunity to keep fit and also fraternize. The managing director of Textiles Ghana Limited, Mr. Kofi Boateng, outlined a number of programs the company has initiated as part of its corporate social responsibility.
We go to work every day, and at times it could be very stressful conditions. And we think it's time to distress. You can see the ladies are playing just to build the bonds between us.
As part of its activities to climax its 50th anniversary, a groundbreaking ceremony was held to mark the beginning of an ultra-modern canteen project for students of Tema Community 4 Primary School. Textiles Ghana Limited, formerly GTP, also donated blood to the National Blood Bank and handed over a refurbished maternity ward to management of the Tema General Hospital.
League leaders Accra Suffolk maintained their unbeaten away record after coming from behind to draw 1-1 with second place Adriana Stars. The encounter was one of the match day 13 fixtures in the ongoing Ghana Premier League. Here, results of other matches played. At Brekum Chelsea 1, Bichim United 0. Dromediana Stars 1, Hatsufolk 1. Secondly, Hazakes 2, Dwarfs 1. Kumasi Kotoko 1, Inter Allies 0. Obuasi Ash Gold 0, Wow Stars 0. Sugakope Wafa 1, Techiman City 0. Dewu Dreams 2, Mediaman 2. Dansoman Liberty Professionals 2, New Edubiasi 0. Let's quickly bring you up to speed with the standings on the table as Kumasi Asante Kotoko have closed the gap on the top of the Premier League after taking full control or advantage of the slips by the 3 top teams. And so Hearts lead the log with 25 points after 13 games. They are followed by Diana Stars with 23 points. Kotoko are third with 23 points. All Stars are fourth with 22 points. Brekum Chelsea fifth with 20 points. Wafa sixth with 19. Dreams FC 7th with 19, Techiman City 8th with 18, Liberty Professionals 9th with 17, Hazakes 10 with 16, Mediama 11th with 14, Ash Gold 12th with 14, Bichim United 13 with 14 points, and UDBS 14 with 12 points. Inter Allies and Ebusion Dwarfs occupy the last two. That's all for sports.
And it's a wrap on News Hour for now. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back at 10:30 with News Tonight.
Good evening.